Imagine it's your first week at a Dutch company and your new manager says, please introduce yourself to the team in Dutch. Will you be ready? Introducing yourself is one of the first things you'll do when you start working in the Netherlands, and nailing it in Dutch makes a huge difference. Not just for making a good impression, but for feeling confident from day one. And in this video, you'll learn exactly what to say, whether it's casual with coworkers or more formal in a meeting. We'll break it down step by step, practice together, and by the end, you'll have your own Dutch introduction ready to go. So let's get started. So as mentioned before, we're gonna look at real workplace conversations, right? So first what you will do, you will listen to it, and later you will listen to it and read along. So in that way, it will help you to enhance your listening and your reading skills for the Dutch language. So what you can do during this real workplace conversation is listen to the short conversation and then focus on the main idea and note any keywords or names if you want. Alright, so as promised, we start with the first step, and that is listening only. So the situation is as following. You are in a meeting with Dutch people, and one of your co-workers is introducing himself in Dutch. So let's listen to that. Hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Ik kom uit Rotterdam en ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. Okay, I'll read it one more time. Hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Ik kom uit Rotterdam. Ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. Alright, so that was the first conversation. Did you get any idea what it was about? I think it's not too difficult, right? But maybe you think it's difficult, it doesn't matter. So now we will listen and read the conversation. So we'll do it again, right? So you are in a meeting with Dutch people and one of your co-workers is introducing himself in Dutch. Here we go. Here you see the conversation, right? And it's called the workplace introduction. So it goes as following. Hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Ik kom uit Rotterdam. Ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. Okay, I'll read it one more time. Hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Ik kom uit Rotterdam en ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. Okay. So what does this conversation now exactly mean, right? What is he saying? Let's take a look at that. And we do that with our quick vocabulary builder. So we're going through the conversation, or in this case, through the introduction. And I'm going to explain each word to you. So let's take a look at it. So this is the conversation, right? As I mentioned. So we go look at the first word. And the first word is hallo. And hallo means in English, hello. Right? It's almost the same, not that difficult. Then the person says, ik ben Mark van Dijk. So ik ben means I am. I am. And then Mark van Dijk, that is a name. It's a very common, typical Dutch name. Mark van Dijk, that is the name of the person. So now you know, hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Then we go to the next sentence, and that is, ik kom uit. Ik kom uit Rotterdam. So, ik kom uit, that means I am from. And in this case, the person is from Rotterdam. So it could also, of course, be Amsterdam. It could be any city, right? So you can use this too and use your city that you come from. So now you know already 2 sentences how to introduce yourself. Now let's go to the third one. And it says, ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. So, ik werk als, that means I work as. So, if you want to say what kind of work you do, you can say, ik werk als. Okay, easy, right? Ik werk als. And then we have the job that the person is doing, and that is a software engineer. And that is in Dutch, software engineer. So that is basically the same, right? And that is what you will see, and you will see that further in the chapters too, that a lot of job titles in Dutch, especially the job titles in IT and engineering and that kind of stuff, they are always almost the same as the English ones. Okay, so that is the job, software engineer. And then where is that? Where is he doing that? Bij. And that is at or with. So with that you introduce then the company. So the person works at or with ASML. So ASML is a company name. It's a big company near Eindhoven, Veldhoven, and they make all kind of chip-related products. So that is the whole conversation, right? So you see, you already have seen some important language here. So let's recap that now. We go to the vocabulary summary and pronunciation. So here we explicitly will focus on the vocabulary that we just learned, and we'll focus a bit more on pronunciation. So the first word, remember, that was hallo. Hallo. And hallo means hello. Okay? Dan ik ben. Ik ben. And that means I am. Then we had ik kom uit. Ik kom uit. And that means I am from. Then we had ik werk als. Ik werk als. I work as. And then we had the job, and in English you say software engineer, and in Dutch you say software engineer. It's almost the same, right? And then we had one more word, and that was the word bij. Bij. And bij is at or with. Okay? So now let's repeat after me, pronunciation. So speak it out loud, even if you're in your room. Just tell your friends or family that you're doing a Dutch course. So the first word is hallo. Hallo. Ik ben. Ik ben. Ik kom uit. Ik kom uit. Ik werk als. Ik werk als. Software engineer. Software engineer. Bij. Bij. All right. Good. So now you learned a little bit of pronunciation. So I hope now you know some words, you know how to pronounce them, and now we're going to practice this with a speak out exercise. So the speak out exercise is an exercise for you to do to speak the whole conversation, or in this case, the whole introduction by yourself. Okay? So let's take a look at that. Speak out. So I will read it and you can follow me, or later you can stop the video and read it yourself by yourself, right? So I would encourage you to do that, right? Really speak it out and really put effort in it to really speak, because if you're only looking and listening, then you won't learn the pronunciation. So here we go. Hallo, ik ben Mark van Dijk. Ik kom uit Rotterdam. Ik werk als software engineer bij ASML. All right, so now you can practice that for yourself. I have the English translation underneath. So this is a good way to introduce yourself. So here we are, language insight. So how to introduce yourself and greet people. We're going to go in these language insights. We're going to go in more detail on all these kinds of things. So we saw a way how to introduce yourself, right? So you can say, ik ben, and then your name. And that means I am, and it's quite neutral, right? So I am your teacher. I can say, ik ben Ramon. I am Raymond. But you can also say it in a different way, and that is mijn naam is. And that means literally my name is. And that's a little bit more formal, right? So maybe if you introduce yourself at the company, or there's some higher ranked people, or there's a situation, and you maybe say mijn naam is. And if you want to be even more polite, and for example, a meeting starts and you don't know the people in the meeting, you can, for example, say, ik zal me even voorstellen. Ik zal me even voorstellen. And that means, let me introduce myself. And that is actually relatively formal. So I would say, if you can remember all three, it would be good. The most important one is ik ben. And the other ones are also nice to know. But let's repeat these together. So the first one is, and now you say it with your name in it, right? So use your name. Ik ben. Ik ben. Mijn naam is. Mijn naam is. Ik zal me even voorstellen. Ik zal me even voorstellen. And then, after the sentence, ik zal me even voorstellen, you can say, mijn naam is, or ik ben, right? So it's an introduction sentence to start to say your name. So you can say, ik zal me even voorstellen, ik ben Ramon. Or you can say, ik zal me even voorstellen, mijn naam is Ramon. Alright? Then let's show you some examples of a formal introduction. We're not going to analyze these word by word, but at least then you know that these kind of introductions also exist. So here we go with the example we just saw. Ik zal me even voorstellen. Mijn naam is Sanne Peters. Ik werk als projectmanager bij Deloitte. Aangenaam. Interesting, right? This conversation or this introduction. So what it means is, let me introduce myself. My name is Sanne Peters. So Sanne Peters is a naam. It's a female name. And I work as a project manager at Deloitte. So Deloitte is, I think, an accountancy financial firm. And then aangenaam, that means pleased to meet you. Okay? So I'll read the conversation one more time. So, ik zal me even voorstellen. Mijn naam is Sanne Peters. Ik werk als projectmanager bij Deloitte. Aangenaam. So that is how you can do a formal introduction. If you think that's too difficult, no problem. Just stick to the easy one. Just say ik ben. And later, if you get more advanced, you can use this one. How to greet people. So we're going to look at 4 expressions that you can use when you meet someone, for example, in the hallway or something. So the first one, and we saw that already, that is hello, hello, and that means hello, hello, and that is neutral to informal, so you can always use this. Then we have another word in Dutch that we use, and that is dag, dag. And dag is an interesting word. It means actually day. It means the word like day, dag. And it can be a hello, and it can also be a goodbye. And it's a neutral thing you can use, so you can always use that. So if you meet someone, you can say dag, but if you leave, you can also say dag. Then we have another word that we can use, and that is hoi, hoi, and that means hi. So that is more informal, right? So that is probably when you meet some colleagues that you know quite well or some friends, then you say hoi. And then we have another one that is very informal, and that is hey, hey, and that is also hi, but that is very informal. So we have hallo, we have dag, we have hoi, and we have hey. So you can practice this for yourself. Hallo, dag, hoi, hey, right? So that is a common way how to greet people. Then let's take a look at how to greet people formally. So we saw 4 expressions that you can always use, but if you want to be a little bit more formal, then you can use the following. And they follow the part of the day actually. So the first one is goedemorgen, and that means good morning. So in the morning, if you walk in the company and you see some colleagues and you want to be a bit more formal, you say goedemorgen, goedemorgen. Or for example, if it's in the afternoon, you can say goedemiddag, goedemiddag, and that means good afternoon. And then maybe in the evening when you leave, maybe you want to say goedenavond, goedenavond, and that means good evening. So if you want to be more formal, you can use these parts of the day and use them as a greeting. So let's repeat them, and you can repeat them after me if you want. Goedemorgen, goedemorgen, goedemiddag, goedemiddag, goedenavond, goedenavond. All right. So you see, you have now already many words that you can greet people with. Let's go to a practice activity. All right, we're going to do a practice activity, and that's how to introduce yourself. So we've saw the introduction from the other person, right? We've learned some words, how to greet someone. We looked at all these things. So I think that you're now ready to introduce yourself, the same as the lady here in the picture, right? So the practice activity, I'm going to give you a structure on how to do it, and it's quite easy to follow. So the first step is you're going to introduce yourself with saying, hallo, ik ben, and then you say your first name, voornaam, plus achternaam. And achternaam is last name, right? So you're going to say, hello, I am. Then the second step is you're going to say where you are from. So you're going to say, ik kom uit. And then you can put your stad, so that's a city, or land, that is the country. So you can choose if you want to say your city or your country. Then we go to the third step, and that is you introduce your job. So you say, ik werk als, and then you say the functie, that is the job title that you have, and then you say bij, and that is at or with, and then you say the company. Okay? So do that for yourself, maybe make a little bit of a note, and then I want you to speak that out by yourself. So next time when somebody asks you to introduce yourself or you want to introduce yourself, then you can do this. Okay, now let me give you an example of how I would do it. So I would say, hallo, ik ben Ramon Jansen. Ik kom uit Eindhoven en ik werk als leraar bij de universiteit. So what I said there was my first name and last name. I told you that I come from Eindhoven, that's a city in the Netherlands, and I told you that I was a teacher at the university. Okay? Now you do this by yourself. Geweldig gedaan. Good job. You've just taken another step with improving your Dutch. What did you find most helpful? Drop it in the comments below if you want. And if you want to learn even more Dutch, check out my online Dutch courses for step-by-step lessons, and you can find the link in the description of this video. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a new lesson. So see you in the next video.